the city. Politics, progress, game boards, objects viewed like pawns till we change up our mindset. Value of the dollars at the center of this conflict. Their lives only matter if they serve to make a profit. But if a midget sees further on the shoulders of the giant, then we should see further than the tyrant and build a future within alliance where success is our science in the quest to go higher. It's the heart of the city.
This is HeartCity TV, and I'm your host, Kendall Chase. Welcome home. Today, we are defying the odds. And we have definitely been hit with some obstacles already in 2022. We've lost some iconic members of our community, Sidney Poitier, Mutume with Juicy, classic song from my childhood. Just found out that my little cousin thought they were talking about Juicy Fruit, the chewing gum. No, they were not talking about Juicy Fruit, the chewing gum, but still impactful in our community and in our culture and the music that we love and that brought joy to us. Even members of our extended community, with the loss of Betty White, we're still reeling from that, and the loss of now Bob Saget. Many of us remember him from America's Funniest Home Videos. And then even the changes that have come with our very own Mr. Gardner stepping down as the 11 p.m. nighttime anchor of ABC Channel 6 in Philadelphia. That's major. So congratulations to Mr. Rick Williams and that new role that he's taking on. And so much change is coming, and with change, there comes obstacles. Today's guest, we're going to talk about not only how we defy the odds, how we get through them, how we survive those obstacles, but how we thrive despite them. And so we're going to start by bringing in our pastor, Daniel Jackson, senior pastor of New Kingdom Baptist Church, staple in the community, loves his young people, a former basketball coach, the youngest one to make it to the PIAA championship, a former assistant dean of students for mathematics, civics, and science school, and just continuing to serve your community and those surrounding the New Kingdom Baptist Church community. Welcome home, Pastor Jackson.
Glad to be home. Glad to be here.
Listen, it has definitely been a time. I already see brother Akil Parker from All This Math, who's going to be on the show a little bit later, saying, what's going on, bro? And so your connections to the community run deep, and it's always good when other good brothers say hi to you, so yeah. That's a wonderful thing. So we're going to just go ahead and jump right in, because we definitely need prayer. Not just Philadelphia, but those of us individually. We're dealing with a lot of loss at the beginning of this new year, and it's affecting us all. We're dealing with the new variant of COVID, and then we're dealing with just all the things that is continuing to affect our community. So with all that please offer us our 2-minute prayer for the city.
Let us pray. Gracious God, our Father, we thank you for another opportunity to come before your throne of grace boldly to obtain mercy. God, I'm asking even now that you touch our city, touch our state, touch our country, God. You know what we're dealing with. You know the hardships that we're suffering from. So now, God, I ask that you be the God of all grace, as you have said in your word, and extend your hand of compassion towards us. God, today's show is about defying the odds, and if we have any example of someone defying the odds, is what you did on Calvary with some 2,000 years ago. And now, because you defy the odds, we as human beings, we as sons and daughters of Christ can defy the odds. So now, God, I pray even for our children as they navigate uncharted territories, virtual school, even attending school with smaller classrooms. God, I pray that you'll give them the power, give them the authority to overcome any obstacle that may try to come and hinder what you've assigned their hands and hearts to do. And God, I pray for parents of those children to have to try new strategies and new things that they have to do to keep their children engaged virtually or even in the building. God, I pray that you give them the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And even those that may not be parents, God, those that may be navigating uncharted territories at their job, at their schools, at their places of employment. God, I pray now that you just strengthen us. You said in your word that we can do all things through Christ that strengthen us. And God, we're standing and we're believing. God, we bind up any obstacle, any demonic spirit that would try to come up and stop and hinder us from completing assignments that you have assigned for us to do. God, we trust you. We dependent on you. And God, we're asking that you give us a supernatural ability to overcome even odds within the city, those things that are stacked up against us, God. The school district of Philadelphia, God, we pray that we'll defy the odds of statistics and what they said that we will be or what we will not be, God. We defy the odds of where we come from and that we'll only be able to stay where we come from. God, I pray the prayer of Jabez that you will enlarge our territory, that you'll give us the strength to reach higher heights and deeper depths, God. God, I pray even now that as we move on during these tough times of this variant and this COVID, God, that you give us the mindset to be safe and you give us the mindset to wear our masks and you give us the mindset that we are more than conquerors in Christ Jesus. So now, God, I pray that you will protect our children, protect our adults, protect them from every robber, every murderer, everything that would try to come up to cause bodily harm, injury to them, God, any disease that would try to come to stop them from completing their assignment to their bodies, God. We denounce it now in the name of Jesus, God. And we trust you. We depend on you. And God, we even thank you in advance for the power to overcome the odds. God, we praise you in advance that we will be victorious, that we will finish what we have started, because you said in your word that he that has begun a good work in us will perform it until the end of time. So now, God, we turn all of this over to you. In Christ's name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. So any nervousness that I may have had as this show began, you definitely helped with that prayer that you put out there for us. And I thank you for that. And you mentioned so many things that we're trying to defy right now in this city, the violence that is overtaking our city, the turmoil that our young people are going through in school. Are they virtual? Are they home? Are they going to school? Do they have internet? Are the teachers going to be able to show up? Are they sick? Do they have subs? I mean, the list goes on for our young people. Despite all of the challenges that continue to be presented, tell us a bit about how New Kingdom is defying the odds and what's happening on your side of the kingdom.
New Kingdom has been a resilient church during the pandemic the entire time. We've extended ourselves to young people. We've had, from when the pandemic was at its height, we've had in-person tutoring for parents to have a safe haven to drop their kids off when the schools were closed. We even fed over 100 kids twice a day. Even now, we offer services. Our youth ministry has been offering services to parents and children just to make sure they know that they have a haven and they have resources, whether it's a computer, whether it's internet, whatever it is. We've been trying to be that beacon of light in the community to make sure that our children have the necessities to be successful during this time.
Yeah, that's a blessing, because for many people, their churches closed their doors and opened up their virtual home, but there was still such a need for services and connection in person that the body of Christ, typically provides. And you guys continue to push through. And like you said, resilient. You guys recently, back in 2021, had an amazing event that you did. I think it was led by your young people. You want to tell us a little bit about that event you had?
We had our Harvest Fest.
Yes, your Harvest Festival, and a little bit of a conference, a bit too. Some speakers, I believe.
Oh yes, our community day that we had. Yes, we had a few state reps and a few community people to come out to encourage our young people, and we gave food and different items to the community and those that were in need. It was a pretty big event, and God blessed us with the resources to be able to be impactful in our community.
And I just think that's important for our community to know that those kinds of events can still happen during these changing times, because your body of Christ that you are leading over at New Kingdom believed so deeply in what our young people needed, but also what they can do, that, God provided. Even though it looks a little different, God still provided for you guys. And so that's amazing. Pastor Jackson, go ahead and share with our audience how people can connect with you, how they can connect with New Kingdom.
Well, New Kingdom right now, we're in a hybrid system where we have in person and we have virtual. Our in person is very safe, very clean environment, temperatures, KN95 masks, not those surgical masks, but we make sure that we provide.
Not the ones with the gaps.
Yeah, not the one with the gap. We also have several virtual platforms. We have our Facebook, which is New Kingdom Baptist Church. We have our YouTube page, which is New Kingdom Baptist Church. And we also have a website, which is www.newkingdombaptistchurch.org, where you can watch us on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m., or you can come in at the building, and our address is 2445 North Masher Street in the heart of Kensington. And we are Swag Church, where we're serving, worshiping, and growing.
Awesome. Swag Church it is. And listen, I don't know if you guys realize, but the benefits of virtual services, you don't actually have to be late, guys. You can actually arrive at 11 a.m. despite whatever obstacle you were going through on a Sunday morning, so you don't have to get there at 11:15. You can get there at 11 o'clock. Be on time.
Absolutely.
And all that New Kingdom has to offer you guys. I thank you so much. I pray God's increase on your life and on the ministry that you serve in. And I thank you for spending some time with us today here on Heart City.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Always. Thank you. All right. So we just heard from Pastor Daniel Jackson at New Kingdom. Excuse me. I wanted to say New Life. That's my church home. New Kingdom Baptist Church in the heart of Kensington. And don't forget to go check them out. They are a hybrid in person, but they're also a virtual service that you can find on YouTube. You can find on their website, and you can find on their Facebook page. We'll have all their information on our page as well. We're going to go and pay a few bills. And on the other side, we're going to talk some EKGs with some Heart City favorites. See you soon.
How's those fries you've been craving? I'm hot and I'm steamy. And oh man, do I smell delicious. I'm calling your name. Oh, Doug. Doug. And if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage, paying for these repairs may be tough to swallow.
Get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem for a whole lot less.
Thank you. And we're back. HeartCity TV. I'm your host, Kendall Chase, and I am excited. Okay, so I'm going to relax a little bit and get into this, because these are two of my favorite people to spend time with. I have Miss Kirsten Hash. This young lady is amazing. She continues to astonish me in her abilities. She is a freshman at Harvard University, but she, more importantly, is the founder of Queensforchange, impacting and advocating for the lives of young women from the Black and Brown cultures. And she just recently had a conference, a 3-day conference called Queensforchange out of the Charlotte area. How are you? And welcome home, Kirsten.
Hello, it's so nice to be here today, and thank you for shouting out Queensforchange, and thank you for attending our conference. It was such a powerful event. We were hosting it to commemorate our 2 years of programming, so it was an amazing weekend of panel discussions.
Yeah, it was. It was a great opportunity to share, and I like to say that while it was geared towards women, it had a lot of content that our young men also can benefit from. So in the future, we'll make sure that we shout out and encourage gentlemen and great advocates for young people like Brother Akil Parker to join in and check out what Queens for Change has to offer. We have Brother Akil Parker, founder of All This Math. Man, you have been a blessing to me. I don't know if you know that this year in particular, with this third grader and his math. And I mean, he is loving your videos. He is doing the things that you said to do. And he is starting today his first class in the gifted program for math because they just pulled him up and he is excited. And so I thank you personally for all this math is doing for our young people. Tell our audience about All This Math.
So All This Math is really just it's an online, it's a private tutoring company, but really I've been focusing a lot on developing the online resource, which is the YouTube channel, because I really fundamentally believe that we as a community have to take ownership and control of the education of our own children. And not only that, I'm trying to create a space where parents can feel comfortable to either refresh their memory on skills that they might have forgot from 25, 30 years ago or 10 years ago. But also for, children to feel comfortable with, in that online space, that YouTube space where they can go and learn how to do certain things that they've been assigned for homework or they saw in class and didn't really fully understand, or just get another perspective. And also, if they've never had a Black teacher or a Black math teacher or a Black male math teacher, I'm online. So
you're online.
I'm online. And I'm actually in the process of trying to create a community, like a collective of Black math teachers, men and women, so our young people can have those examples,
So I remember my first Black math teacher, 9th grade at the Philadelphia High School for Girls in Philadelphia. And her name was Miss Mosley. And it was for algebra. And algebra stumped me hard. It stomped me down. But Miss Mosley never gave up on me. Like, she was like, you're going to get a student tutor. And when that didn't work out, she said, okay, no, we're going to get you an outside tutor. When that didn't work, she said, I'm going to tutor you. And she tutored me till I got through, and so those moments landed with me. And I grew up in Philadelphia. I was blessed to have lots of Black teachers, Black and brown teachers, but my husband was not so blessed. He grew up in Ben Salem. And so he remembers when he got his first Black teacher and the impact that had, and even his first male teacher. And so when we talk about the impact of teachers and when we talk about the impact of women advocating, especially young women like Kirsten advocating for others, that is the beginning of defying the odds. And so we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Are you guys ready for some EKGs?
I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
This is the EKG, the part of the show where we place America front and center on the monitors of the American people. We will look for irregularities in the heartbeat, offer solutions on the issues we find in order to make America healthy once again. So fire up the machine. Let's start the EKG.
This week's EKGs for me were about bringing joy to me. We've seen a lot of very devastating things happening in our news cycle more recently, whether they were the loss of iconic members of our community. We've had lots of fires throughout the country, taking lives of young people. I mean, we've just been dealing with a lot of tragedy. And I just wanted some joy today in the EKGs. And so this is what I hope to bring. And I know you guys can really help me with this. The first story is about a West Philadelphia mom who said, you know what, I'm going to take it back to the old school way we used to do this. And there was a snow day last Friday. Her kids were going to be going to school virtually because nowadays on snow days, you don't get out of school. And she woke her 3 boys up at 5 a.m., told them to dress warmly, grab the shovels, and took them back to West Philly. They shoveled many homes, their front steps, the sidewalk, all of that. They took it back to helping the community so that people can get through, get out, and go to work. They made a few dollars, but they even took those few dollars and donated it to the families that were devastated by the fire in Philadelphia, where we lost 12 members of our community, and 8 of those members were children. Brother Akil, I know, you and I, we might consider ourselves a little bit of an old head at this point. And how many steps did you shovel back in the day? Because it's hard to find someone to shovel for us.
Oh, back in the day, a lot. Like me and my homeboy Tim, like we used to look forward to the snow days. That's how we made our money.
That's how you made your money. And so it was really the beginning of your entrepreneur journey, understanding giving back, because you probably shoveled for a few people that only gave you like $5 instead of the 10 or 15 that you really wanted, but that's all that they had, So, when you read this story, what was your first thought?
Well, I was glad to see, parents, a black parent, because usually, this is what I want to say. A lot of black parents do these types of things, but you don't hear these stories in the mainstream media, so right. These types of stories are presented to us as if there's some type of anomaly, but really they're not. But I'm glad that we're able to, talk about this and, see this happening, parents, instilling those values and that sense of community, in their children, and hopefully it'll be intergenerational, and then those 2 young boys will then in turn pass it on to their children or their little cousins, their nephews or whoever in the future. And so that's what I was happy to see. I was happy to see that her having her children to be able to carry on tradition in a positive way and
in a very positive way.
Community.
Yeah. Recently you talked about Kwanzaa not really being just a 7-day celebration, but really 365 days of the year. And when I read that story and I knew you were going to be on today, it immediately brought me back to that post that you made, about the community doing and taking care of the business of the community and passing down traditions. Kirsten, you're a young person. You're up in Boston now, so from Charlotte to Boston, you're about to see some snow, some real snow. I hope you have warm gear, but when you read that story, what resonated with you?
I think that echoing the sentiments of earlier, just that instilling in the youth the importance of serving the community and kind of that collective mindset of helping one another. And I think it's so powerful to hear a story of young people that are, learning these values from the older generation. And I think it's so important because not only did, these young boys shovel the snow, and that's a good thing to help their community, but they also learn, you should be compensated for your work. And I think that's so cool as well, just knowing, maybe people gave what they could offer, but they also got something out of being willing to serve others. And it's just a great story to hear.
It's a great story to hear all the way around. I completely agree. And so we have 2 more great stories that, hit the newsstands yesterday, and they brought huge smiles to my face. First off, Dr. Maya Angelou is now going to be one of the faces on a quarter, the first Black woman to ever be featured on a quarter. I don't know about you guys, but Maya was one of my very favorite authors as a young person. I remember reading her book. It's about the 5th grade. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and every time I read it as I got older, I understood her stories a little bit more. But the significance of her being on a quarter, on a coin, the first Black woman to ever be. Her coin is actually manufactured out of the mint in Philadelphia. So then tying back and understanding that connection, all this math, I know, when we talk about economics, being able to really see your face, a face that looks like us on one of our tokens of economics. Tell us the impact of that for you.
So for me, I'm happy about it, but I'm probably happy about it for a different reason.
I knew it.
I'm happy because it exposes a great contradiction within the United States of America.
Okay.
On the same quarter where Maya Angelou will be, on the obverse or the reverse of the quarter, on the front side is still the racist slave-holding president George Washington.
Right.
And I'm happy about that, you know, in the sense that if we can expose this contradiction, and this is really a mathematical process, because when we solve equations in mathematics, everything ties back to math for me in my mind, right? When we solve equations in math, if we end up with a value for x, let's say x equals 1, and then you try to plug that 1 back into the equation, and the left side doesn't add up and equal the right side, then you know something is wrong. So you have not, we've exposed the contradiction. So here politically, we've exposed the contradiction because we, you know, some people, you know, in the United States government or in the mainstream media would like to promote this as if this is like a symbol of respect for people of African descent, a symbol of respect for women of African descent. But yet on the same coin, you have on the other side, you still have George Washington, who you know did not identify with, did not accept the humanity of people of African descent at all. So it's a glaring contradiction that has to be exposed. And these are, you know, the thing that I do like about it is the fact that now it's put out here front and center so we can have these conversations with young people and even some adults that would like to listen. And hopefully it pushes us more toward, when we recognize these contradictions, this will push us politically more towards Black nationalism / Pan-African nationalism, which is just a more global extension or expression of Black nationalism. Because I believe that that's really the only thing that will help us to come from under the domination of Europeans. A lot of us, you know, we have conversations about racism and how we're going to combat racism, but we have to realize that racism is more tangential. Racism is more of a byproduct of the fact that we're dominated. And these are the words of the late Dr. Amos Wilson, right? That I recommend for everyone to listen to and purchase his books and study his books and create study groups and talk to young people about Dr. Amos Wilson. We're under the domination of Europeans. So racism becomes one of the, you know, outcomes of that domination, because when some people fight against only racism, I don't know if they realize that if you were to end racism, hypothetically, you would still be it's possible you could still be under the domination of Europeans. Even if they're treating you nice, you're still under their domination. So then it's kind of like the idea of being like the quote unquote slave that's taken care of with golden handcuffs, so to speak. Is that still is that still an ideal situation for you? So these are just things that come to mind when I think about this.
I mean, your thoughts are definitely resonating with our audience, right? So people have mixed feelings. We definitely, and I think Kirsten, jump in here, you know, the mixed feelings of pride that she's on the coin, but pointing out the glaring contradictions that happen when we see these moments in our history happen.
Yes, I think that what's interesting is when I heard this story first, I saw it on Twitter, and the way I was introduced to it was a young Black woman saying, I don't want to celebrate this when Black women are still being economically disenfranchised. And this representation is not something I want to celebrate. And while I don't necessarily, you know, share that same feeling, it is, like you said, that mixed feeling of, you know, we have this amazing woman who is finally being honored in the way that allows us to reclaim the American narrative. And it's so important that as African Americans, we recognize that we're integral to the American story. And albeit it's a very complicated way that we are, and it's through our subjugation that this country was born. But we have to understand that we are as tied to the American story as the oppressors are. And you know, in reclaiming that narrative, that is something to celebrate, but it's also something to recognize that we can't just have, you know, Maya Angelou on the coin, and it's something to celebrate, but we also have to have economic benefits and the reinvestment in our community. I'd love to see more women of color as the face of American money and, you know, all these amazing things, but also want to see women of color not being economically disenfranchised, and also seeing us have equitable opportunities. So, like you said, mixed feelings, but I think that Maya Angelou deserves to be honored in this way, and that we continue to honor the women of color that have blazed trails for so many like me that continue to want to create change in the world.
Yeah, it's great when you have these stories such as this, and you have the power of the story of all this math being able to challenge us to think of life situations mathematically, and how life is truly equations, and how we find the contradictions when we can't solve the problem in the way that we believe that we were supposed to solve the problem, right? And so begin to think of it in a different way. And then also, seeing the diverging points of view between a man that has had a little bit more experience than someone else that's on our panel and life. And so that beauty and being able to see it, but then us all agree that this woman was amazing. Maya Angelou brought a lot to our culture. She's someone that I think we can all say we're pretty proud of what she left here as part of her legacy. And we're excited and happy at least that there's some acknowledgement. But what do we do with that acknowledgement? And I think you guys both bring up some great points about what's next. What do we do? What do we challenge the conversation to help push people forward and understanding that there's more than just her face on the coin with her arms outstretched and a bird flying behind her to describe her life and legacy as the Mint would like us to do. And the beauty in all that is that it's right there in Philadelphia. And so the conversation can really be tangible to our young people. And like Brother Akil said, even to some of the adults that are open to that conversation, And so I thank you both. Kirsten, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody just a bit about all, Queens for Change and how they can reach you.
So Queens for Change, you can follow us on social media, on Instagram at Queens for Change CLT. We're obviously operating out of Charlotte, but as I went into college and my network has expanded, we really want to just reach young women of color that are striving to create a change in their community. We host service events in the Charlotte area, political education, fellowship, all these different things, primarily virtually. So anyone that would like to attend can. And we just hosted our Queens Empowerment Conference this past weekend, and we hope that everyone stays tuned for our future events.
Brother Akil, share with us about all this math, how they can tap in and use your services, especially your digital content like I have, to help encourage our young people, but also ourselves from that almost 25-year gap since we've had to sit in the class and do some of these math problems.
Right, because it's not just about the children. I think that's, there's a lot of math resources on YouTube and on the internet, but a lot of them just focus on the children. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to empower parents because I speak from a space of privilege, because having been a high school math teacher for 16 years and then, and currently a college math professor, I never have anxiety about any of my children coming home with math homework that I can't help them with. I just don't, I want to kind of democratize that feeling and, let other parents know. So I do a lot of videos also with my youngest daughter, Asada. She's 9 going on 10. Shout out to her. I have yet to start. I'm about to start doing videos with Nassim, my older son, who also is a tutor with the company. He's in 11th grade. Shout out to him too. Because I'm not only modeling, how to complete the topics and utilize the math skills, but also modeling for parents. This is one way in which you can also show your children, how to do this. Also, so on with all this math, you can follow us on Instagram at All This Math. You can go into YouTube and just type in the search bar at All This Math, and please subscribe. Subscribe, share. Don't be stingy with the videos. Let everybody know about them. Share them, especially if you find a topic that is relevant to you, and you have other parents with children of a similar age. Also, it's a very culturally relevant space. Because I also, I'm very intentional about, the t-shirts that I wear, the hoodies that I wear. I mean, yesterday I recorded a video. I had a Marcus Garvey t-shirt on, and in the word problem that I was doing, I was doing a word problem dealing with finding the area of a triangle. And, you know, in the word problem, you know, I was very intentional about, you know, it was about a park, right? So I kind of changed up the narrative within the word problem and renamed the park Garvey Park, right? Mm-hmm. So that way we can have a conversation about, you know, Marcus Garvey, because what we find is that a lot of our children act in shiftless and wayward ways because of the role models that they have and that they don't have. And a lot of them, when you have conversations with them, when you embrace their humanity, you find out that they haven't even heard of some of these great Black people, right? These great African people, they haven't even heard of them. So how can they carry on those traditions if they don't even know who these people are?
Exactly.
You know? So, you know, it's a small thing, like just dropping names, like just name dropping. So just like the rappers do, like the rappers drop names of designer brands and these former gangster mafia, Italian mobsters and everything and all their rap songs. So that's how we know who they are. So I'm really just incorporating the same type of thing. So, you know, in a lot of the videos, I'm just, you know, trying to bring a lot of our, you know, Pan-African exemplars or, you know, Black history, Black empowerment heroes out of obscurity and bring them into the forefront so our young people will know who they are. And then they'll have some options, you know, so, you know, as opposed to just saying, okay, well, I want to identify with these rappers or singers or entertainers or Instagram influencers that are just 90% of the time just being silly, you know, and making jokes and whatnot. I also have an option. I can try to carry on the tradition or identify with some other type of people like a Malcolm X or an Assata Shakur or a Thomas Sankara, Maurice Bishop, you know, and people that were revolutionary, that were actually fighting against oppression, as opposed to trying to incorporate into and get a big check within an oppressive system. So you're going to get two things. You're going to get a 2-for-1. You're going to get mathematics instruction and history lessons, you know,
and that's
as well.
And that's a blessing. So, you know, I've always personally enjoyed your, like I said, your content on YouTube and your social media posts and how they impact my ability to interact with my young people at home around the topic of math, but also, yes, the cultural competency that comes with it and helping us be able to connect our bigger stories to our math life and seeing it all tied together. I thank you both for being phenoms in our culture, very grounded in the work and doing it every single day. Brother Akil, sister Kirsten, I am grateful for your time with us. We're going to go to a commercial break. And on the other side, we have Miss Tashauna Richardson sharing with us her story of defying the odds. We'll be back.
Come on, hop on.
Good morning.
It's the NBA 75th. All right, guys. We're getting ready to take a stroll down memory lane. Don't get left behind. It's all about the brotherhood here.
Good morning, neighbor. Top of the morning.
But also,
this is my house.
Claiming what's rightfully yours.
This is my house.
Hey, seatbelts on, seatbelts.
Hey, Spider!
What's up, Russ? Take notes, kids. Flyers dressed in the NBA. Around here, it's never too late to learn a new trick.
What you want to do is get it off your fingertips.
From the sky hook.
That's your third.
All the way to the alley-oop.
Oh, throw it down, big man. Good pass, bro.
That was an instant classic. This community right here stretches to every corner of the globe.
The globe doesn't have corners.
You know what I mean.
Big drop out.
We've come a long way from the peach basket.
My bad.
Not again.
Where you think you're going?
Gary.
You can't get by me.
They call him the Glove. This is what he does. Even nicknames take on a life of their own. No.
Somebody call the doctor?
Is that who I think it is?
This league is full of game changers. When it comes to legends, the NBA's got more than its fair share.
And I ain't finished yet.
That's what I like to hear. Some things are bigger than basketball. Now we've seen kids turn into kings and give it all back to the next generation. There's a piece of this game for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, or yeah, that too. Your move. Now that's just fun. Nice ride, Z. Hello. Fit is clean. It's been 75 seasons and counting. One thing's for certain.
This game just keeps getting greater.
Game don't stop. It won't stop.
I said no.
Please?
I love that commercial. I don't know what it is. It makes me smile every single time. We are back and you're watching HeartCity TV. This episode is sponsored by Tashauna, 100% hemp CBD products. To learn more about Tashauna, check out their website at mytashauna.com. Our next guest is just absolutely powerful in her own work. She is Miss Tashana Richardson, the founder of I Am Beautiful, a movement. Hashtag, it's a movement. And you are doing some great work. You are a global organization. That's the founder of a global organization that serves over 75,000 women daily. Your work is so impactful. You're a motivational speaker, a marketing director for a travel company. You are the CEO of M50K Cosmetics and the single mother of 6, because all those other things was not enough for you. You are the single mother of 6, but most importantly, you credit your success to your unwavering faith in God.
Absolutely.
Welcome home, Miss Tashana Richardson. Welcome home.
Thank you so much for having me. What an awesome and amazing introduction. Just want to clear up that I'm a former marketing director of a travel company. However, I enjoyed my stay while I was there.
Awesome. Well, listen, it's still part of that wonderful resume that you have. And I'm just astonished. You know, we were blessed to see some of your work on IG and just see how the women that you serve daily interact with you. Tell us how you got to this place where you wanted to serve and that was how you chose to serve.
Awesome. Thank you. That's an amazing question. I got to this point with I Am Beautiful, the movement. It originally started in 2012. I birthed a son January the 20th, 2012. He passed away on July the 18th, 2012. And during that time, it was something that I had to travel in the unknown. There was no blueprint for what I was going through. And after he passed away, I had 3 years of desert, 3 years of just not even wanting to be in the space of life. And I felt like if this was going to be the rest of my life, now mind you, I am a mother of 5 other children that came before him. And I had hit rock bottom, because when you get to a place of wanting to exit, you don't think about anything else. You're at the lowest of your low. And one thing that I failed to do within those 3 years was to ask God, what is my purpose in this? Because even though I asked him every night in my prayer to just go ahead and take me out, do it in my sleep. I sleep hard. I'll never feel it. I'll never know. Everybody else will be okay. He kept waking me up. And so after 3 years of just waking me up, I said, God, what is my purpose? And when I finally asked him what was my purpose, you know what? He still did not answer me. But I got in a place of expectation, because what I did know and what I was sure of, that he may not come when you want him, but he'd always show up on time.
Amen.
And I got in that posture and I stayed in that position. And in 2015, I was a hairstylist prior to me doing all of these things that I do now, but I was just simply walking from the salon to Walmart, and God said, "Do it now." A few weeks prior to that "do it now" moment, I had just celebrated 11 other women in a magazine called I Am Beautiful, just women of, just different testimonies, different backgrounds, everywhere in the world. We all came together to do an I Am Beautiful calendar, and I felt like I had more people to celebrate. I talked to a few of my friends. They said, "No, let's just keep it for us." We had dubbed ourselves the 12 disciples, and let's just have this space to ourselves. And God said no. And then I was on my way to Walmart, as I just said, and He said, "Do it now." And I got on Facebook, and I was creating a group, first group ever. I Am Beautiful. ... Hashtag the movement.
The movement.
The movement. And I was like, okay, whatever this supposed to be, obedience is what I'm going to do. And I created that space in 2015. In 30 days, we had over 30,000 women in the organization screaming, "I am beautiful," sharing their stories, sharing their testimony. And I created that outlet solely because I needed healing, and therapy didn't do it for me. My mama couldn't do it for me. My father, nobody in my family could do it for me, because there was a pain that I had never experienced. And so through that organization, that's where I started my healing from the loss of my son.
So your story, what really resonates with me, I hear the "I am beautiful," and we say that to ourselves. That's part of so many, especially women of color, our affirmation in the morning, right? Like, we say that to ourselves, but it's the movement for me. I will be honest. It's the movement for me, because for me this year, it's about this forwardness, right? And we can't move forward without the movement and the power in your movement. So tell us a little bit about the community that you have.
Oh my goodness. I get all warm and fuzzy on the inside when I think of today. We have grown to 81,300 women with 32 additional chapters all over the world. And the community, I can't even find the correct words to describe what they mean to me. Because as you were saying, yes, that's something that's part of our affirmation. I am beautiful. Even though I was speaking those words out, I was decomposing on the inside. But I knew that if I kept saying it, I am beautiful, and what defines my beautiful, I knew that I was going to get to the place where everything was connecting. But the community, they are a group of women from the northeast, east, south, and west, all over the world. Only maybe 20% I've ever seen a day in my life. And
Wow.
we have created this amazing, true, and empowered sisterhood of just turning the pages of life,
Yes.
in our journey, because everybody touched down at a different space. I was grieving. Someone had just survived cancer, and it was just a community of cheerleaders rooting everybody on. And that's what built the foundation of the organization.
And so you said you have 32 chapters to this organization. And so tell us about that structure, that organizational structure that you've created.
I have to be honest with you, it was organized chaos, because the group was growing so fast. I cannot tell you that, oh, this was strategic, oh, this was put here, and you guys go there. It was spinning out of control until we had never, I had never experienced anything like that. And I didn't have a blueprint in 2015 to follow. But everybody was screaming, "I want to see you. Like, I want to see you in person." And then we had a group that was booming in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, where I'm from. So let's create a chapter for I Am Beautiful Rocky Mount. Then somebody said, "Hey, don't forget us over here in California." I was like, I don't know nobody in California, but we had POCs, point of contacts, with every chapter that was created. And it's been a blessing. I Am Beautiful New Jersey, I Am Beautiful New York. We even had a chapter in Italy and North Korea, and it was just amazing. And it is still amazing to watch these group of women, come together now virtually, because we can't get together like we would normally, prior to COVID. But it was just organized chaos, and we just finessed our way through what we thought was going to be right, at
Yeah.
that time.
That organized chaos can do some amazing work, I tell you. I've been blessed and sometimes cursed to be a part of organized chaos, right? Because it can keep you up late at night when you're ready to rest your mind. But the rewards of it, when you stick with it, can be um, so life changing. You've already showed us in your story that you were defying odds, but for a while there you were just surviving. You were just maintaining. You were just telling yourself, but also others, I am beautiful, and waiting for that moment for it to really click and shift for you on the inside so that your outside matched your inside.
Absolutely. I mean, I just have to be truthful with everybody. You get to the point where tomorrow is going to be a different day, but you don't know what tomorrow holds. Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a day where, I truly was in survival mode with, 5 children, being a single mother, according to my resume, people had already counted me out. She has
Right.
5 children, well, 6
Right.
children, 6 baby daddies. She's in the system, 17 years of HUD housing and government assistance. Like, I was already placed in other people's mind where they thought I should be, in life. And so what kept me going was just this one saying, I'm one day closer. I don't know what that day was going to consist of. I couldn't tell you that I planned for the next day, that would be a lie, because it was just different days came with different feels. But my defining moment was May 13th, 2016. I had went through a horrible breakup, and I mean, he just literally left me for the streets, to be honest with you. And this young lady just came on social media and found me and simply said, I wanted to help you. And I didn't reject the help. I didn't know her. And as a matter of fact, she's from Philadelphia. Renee Toppin, thank you for being an angel in my life. But she simply came in my inbox, found me through I Am Beautiful. I want to help you. And that's when I started my journey of being a marketing director for that travel company. It took me literally out of the hotel and put me in a place that I could only dream of.
Wow. So Philly, you see, we do have some really good people. Don't let those people that watch our Eagles fans and tell us that we're not good hearts. Mr. Tashana is telling us this powerful story. My pastor always says people see the glory, but they don't know the story. And so I'm sure there are so many people that see you now. They see what even this morning was 75,000 followers, and now you say you're over 81,000 followers. You've had a book, you have organizations and chapters all over the globe. You are serving from your heart's heart. Do you consider yourself thriving? We can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. Hold on. Let's try it one more time. No, hold on. Let me talk to my producer. So we're going to try and get Miss Tashana Richardson's back on so that we can hear her. Are we back? No, I still can't hear you. We're going to give it one more try. My executive producer is working on it. This story is powerful, and this is exactly why we wanted to talk about defying the odds. A lot of times we see the glory, but we don't know the story. We don't know how important it is for us to just stay the course. Not fake it till we make it, but stay the course. Because sometimes God has put in us what he wants us to do. And when we stay the course, we are going to get the fruit of our labors. We are not doing, we are not doing this because we're faking it for social media. We're doing this because this is what's important for us to stay the course. And so defying the odds, moving towards thriving, but not just surviving. How do we do that? Brother Akil showed us that, mathematics it's more than a survival skill that we have. I think we're bringing Miss Tashana Richardson back in. I think we might have her. I hear some noise. Are we there? There
Can
you
you
go.
hear me?
There's that beautiful voice. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you so much. You had me. Listen, we're bringing you back anyway. So the audience is going to get more opportunity to hear about your story and your amazing work, because I just don't think the 20 minutes that we had today is enough for this wonderful story. But, for our topic today, defying the odds, moving towards thriving, not just surviving. Are you thriving?
Not yet. I don't feel like I'm thriving just yet, because I feel like as long as I have breath in my body, it gives me the opportunity to do more. And that's just where I am in my life. I don't know at any point will I ever feel like I'm thriving, but I am serving, and I will serve to the best of my ability, utilizing every resource that I have, even now with the campaign that we have with I Am Beautiful. I'm just here to help. I'm just here to utilize what God has given me to bless somebody else. He said, what I make happen for others, he'll turn around and make happen for me. And so if anybody else want to say that's thriving, I'll take that. But I don't feel like at this moment, I just feel like I have so much more to offer.
That's just so powerful. So tell our audience, until our next time having you back on our show, how they can reach you and what you have coming up.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this. Right now, this moment, January 1st through the 31st, we launched our first ever Millionaires Campaign. We have 81,000 women in the organization. Congratulations to LaShawn Chandler. She's our very first recipient. Our goal is to just be that one to support her business. If we all collectively do that, she has hit millionaire status just because she was in place and she was in position and had a heart to receive. You can find me on social media as Tashana Richardson. You can find me on Instagram as _Lady LADEE.
Okay. Audience, I hope you understand. This is a community. We always talking about the fakeness on social media. We're talking about the disconnect between reality and what life really is. Tashana is telling us right now, she has been transparent throughout our whole conversation, and I am grateful for that transparency, because it's so true. And I personally went through similar journey, and I'm still going through that similar journey that you talk about. This is defying the odds. We're not always going to be in a position of thriving. We're not always going to just be surviving. However, when we stay the course, we don't necessarily fake it till we make it, but we stay the course, and we stay true to what God has asked us to do, even when we don't know what the outcome will be. He will provide. He will continue to give us blessings upon blessings. I'd like to thank you again for joining us today, Tashana. It has been a blessing to have you, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right, Heart City, we are coming to a close. It has been an amazing show. We've had Pastor Daniel Jackson from New Kingdom Baptist Church talking about their work happening in the Kensington area. You can see their show, their service every Sunday virtually, or go safely in person, wearing an NK mask, not the one that gaps, but the one that completely covers their sanctuaries, sanitized. Go check out Queensforchange and go check out All This Math with Brother Akil Parker, Sister Kirsten Hash, and Brother Akil Parker. They have amazing organizations continuing to serve our community. And Miss Tashana Richardson came in and closed down the show for us today. Powerful, powerful testimony about just pushing through. How many of us can really have that story resonate with us when that moment where you just know you're supposed to be doing something else and you just go and do it and you don't know what the outcome is going to be? That's the step towards moving towards thriving, stepping away from that point of just surviving. I would like to thank you all for coming out today to watch us here on HeartCity TV, always tuning in. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, and our Instagram. Support Heart City by doing just that. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. This is HeartCity TV. I'm Kendall Chase, and go make your next move be your very best move.